this is how I made.
Jake, what do I do? Should I kill him?
With what?
With this!
Demon blood.
That's right.
My favorite sword in the most watched childhood show, Adventure Time. You know, this is the demon sword. I made it out of EVA foam, and mind you, this is my first time making any type of prop for any type of cosplay or costume or whatever the case may be. So I went to start a journey of a new hobby of just building different props. So there's a lot of pros and cons, a lot of mistakes that I made, and you know, it was a very long like learning curve, but I really enjoyed it and it was fun, and the end result came out pretty good. You know, I still got some minor tweaks to do to it, like I have to add the black lines around here, but I'll just end up doing that afterwards. So basically how I got started, I went on Google, I found a nice little image and I copied and pasted onto Adobe Illustrator, and then from there I outlined it and I sent it straight to the printer, and this is what I got. And so I started cutting it out. You know, after I cut it out, I taped it together. Very, very simple, quick things. And then this is where things got really, really violent. This got really hard, right? So at first, I couldn't find any way to place it on without the paper moving. So I bought these bobby pins, you know, these huge bobby pins, and then I stuck it onto the foam. And mind you, I'm using 10mm foam. So I ended up splitting the sword in two, so that way I could put the support beam down the middle. I stuck the bobby pins onto the paper, into the foam, so that way I could trace it. I outlined everything and it was good. It was looking good. I was very excited on how this was coming out already. You know, the vision in my head was superb, but then everything just started going downhill, right? Number one, the cutting. Mind you, everything I bought, all my items I bought it from Temu. Right? I bought it from Temu. Yes, I did it. I bought it from Temu. Because I didn't think it really mattered that much. So I don't know if it's because my blade wasn't sharp enough, but trying to cut a straight line was absolutely terrible. It was so hard. I sharpened. It did not matter. It was just horrible. Again, this was a learning lesson, so I learned what to do in the future when it came to that. So after I fully cut everything out, I pulled it out, you know, I put the foam away, and then now it came down to the sanding and drilling, and which is by far the longest thing in this process. So I drew a line down the middle where I was gonna put the support staff, and all I got was a wooden dowel. I grabbed a nice little wooden dowel, and I used that. The wooden dowel is what I was going to use to put down into the center to give it some sturdiness, like so it doesn't like completely flap, but so it's able to stay kind of sturdy. As you can see, there is a slight bend. The wooden dowel is not that good, but you know, I heard fiberglass is a lot better, so I'm gonna change to that. Even with the wooden dowel, it still bends like that, which is fine since I'm not gonna be swinging this around trying to chop up people anyways, so it doesn't really matter that much. So when it came down to it, I had a really hard time making the center very even to fit the wooden dowel in, so I had to trace it a couple times. I cut open the channel and then I started sanding it down so that way it would fit, and I finally got it to work after so long. The next step is I started using contact cement. I didn't know how much exactly I was supposed to use, so I just started laddering that boy up. I started putting so much, I thought it was a Diddy party the way I was laddering that up with contact cement. And yeah, and then I finally got it to fit. I also used, what's that thing called? The heat glue thing, man. The glue stuff that goes into the heat gun. You know, oh man, I'm blurting the name. I can't remember it. It's the glue that goes, hot glue gun. Bruh. I used the hot glue gun as well. So that way it was able to fit, or it was sturdy enough. And now with the straight edges. So I wanted my edge to be kind of sharp, as you can see. It's not super sharp, but it's sharp enough, you know? So what I would do, I spent hours sanding down the corners, and man, oh man, did I tell you, I was hot in that mask. It took so long. Every part of that process was excruciating. It was just hard overall. And I knew sanding was gonna be the worst part, but you know, after so many hours, I finally did it to the edge I wanted. As you can see, here's a close-up of how I was sanding out to get the actual edge I wanted. You know, I was eating up a lot of the foam, then I went back in to smooth it out. So now came to the hilt part. So I think this is not the hilt, this part. Whatever you call this part, I don't remember. I think it's called the hilt, or no, this is the hilt. I don't know what this is called, the guard or something. And I was filling in the seams and the gaps where there was like where the cement didn't fully stick onto it. And this is one of my biggest mistakes. I was using so much of this putty, whatever you want to call it, without spraying it down and evening it out. So having to come sand this afterward was a pain in the ass for no reason. Avoid making that mistake. Take your time when you're doing this. So when it came down to this hilt, I grabbed some PVC pipe. I think about a 1/2 inch. I grabbed a super long one just in case I need some in the future. I cut it into, I cut it to the size I wanted, and I used the glue gun, and then I slid it into it, and then I filled the inside with the hot glue, and it was stayed pretty firm, which I was really happy about. I didn't have to go back and try to do some other BS. And then for one of the final parts of this, or at least of this build, was this part. So what I did, I used the same putty and I just molded it into this shape, as you can see, and it came out really nice. First try, it came out really, really good. So I was extremely happy with that. So after I added that onto it, it took this about a day to actually fully dry. And all I did, I just shoved it in there. Shoved it right in there. And yeah, so I can say it came out okay. Not my best work. I could have definitely taken my time a little more. And then after that, I just used contact cement and hot glue, and it stuck, and it's pretty sturdy, I can't lie. Now this is the painting. So with this, I went outside to do it, and it was pretty windy. So my first steps was, everybody says you have to prime it. So I put a couple coats of the primer. I think I put like 4 or 5 coats. I don't know, I used a lot. I really used a lot. And then afterwards, I realized this takes a long time to dry. And I didn't show it in this video of me actually like painting the full sword. So after using the primer, I went in and I used different grits of sandpaper. I would sand down the primer just to make it smooth so I could remove the brush strokes. And after that, I just used one of these tools. I used an airbrush because I hate brush strokes. I don't like how it looks. I like that nice, clean, sleek look like this, how it's nice and glossy. You don't really see any brush strokes at all. So I ended up using that, and then I got this little perfection. I'm so happy, I'm so excited. This was like, it took me a really long time because I ended up having to stop and do other things. But lastly, I forgot to mention this part of where the hilt is. I just went on Amazon, I bought some like brown leather. It was kind of thin, and then I just wrapped around it, and boom. So I know I'm supposed to add like the black lines here. I might do that, I might not, I might keep it like that. But yeah, so that's how I built this, It took me a little while, it took me a really long time. Now comes to my complaints that no one told me, the absolute cons of making these things, right? There's so much. Number 1, nobody told me that sanding was gonna take as long as it did. I did not know it was gonna take that long. Number 2, as you can see, right, when you first sand, I didn't know you had to use multiple grits of sandpaper to make it super smooth. So I had to do it a couple times and to finally make it smooth. And another thing, number 3, taking your time when you're cutting, because that saves so much when you're sanding, and it allows your sword to be like straight. I don't know if you can really see that, but mine is not perfectly straight the way I cut it. And I was not going back to fix it. I tried sanding it down a little bit to fix it, but all in all, it was not working, Then it came down to, while I was working, I could have made the blade a little sharper, but I wanted to end out and I didn't want to do any more of that. So I just wanted to call it a day. And then now, when it came to painting, this air thing, I had to buy two because it broke on me, and then every time I would paint, not enough paint would come out. It was so annoying, and I finally found the middle ground, and it finally worked. So I know it looks pretty good here, but when you come up close, this is where if you come up close, you'll start to notice some things. Like right here, I didn't sand it well enough when I put the putty, and the same thing goes for in here. I don't know if you can really see that. The same thing, I put too much putty without sanding it, and the same thing goes for around here, around these edges here. When I put as you seen it earlier, when I put the putty, I did not sand it, either did not sand it down well enough, or I did not use enough water to make it like, absorb into it. And then while I was painting, I noticed like there's some bumps here, and then I would mess up with the paint a lot, by putting things underneath it, and then it would mess up the paint and it would fully stain it. But after that, all in all, I'm actually proud of my work. It was pretty fun to do it. It took a super long time, like I said, but it was fun. I'm not gonna complain too much. So now I'm thinking about starting my next project, and to be honest, I was looking around to see what I'll do for my next project. I'm thinking of making all fin sword, each and every single one of them. But before that, I play a lot of League of Legends, and one of my favorite characters in League is Yone, or Yon, however people want to say it. And I believe I'm just gonna make both his sword. You know, it's gonna be a big uptake for my first time. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. I would love the support. So if you guys want to leave me a like, comment, a follow. I learned a lot of lessons through this video, and I want you to know this was not my first sword. Let me show you guys. This was not the first one. So just so y'all know. Let me not sit on this one after I just finished making that. Just so y'all know, it took me 4 tries to make that sword. So many mistakes. Look at this one. So many mistakes. Like right here, not curving the edge. This was my first prototype. Terrible. Got that out of there. This was my, then I made a second one, but I don't know, I lost it. Then this was my third one. I realized I did not sand it well enough. And when I painted, it would leave all these little scuff marks. It was terrible. It was terrible. So, and it just looked horrible with the sanding and stuff. But this one is a lot sturdier than that one. I don't know why. Maybe I used a thicker thing in the middle. But yeah, I just want you guys to know that it took me a lot of tries to actually make this properly. So words of encouragement. You know, I know it might be hard. There was a lot of times I did give up, but I persevered and I got through it, and I finally made what I wanted to make. And yeah, so I'm gonna be doing other things. I'm gonna be making other swords, other things, other weapons. So if you guys wanna follow me on this, you know, prop journey, whatever you wanna call it, slice that follow button.